Who was that first spiritual experience you'd like to share with us?
Roll back. It's hard.
Hey, Hard. Glad to hear your vibration. I am seriously happy that you're here. And you had a spiritual experience you wanted to share with us. What is that, son?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I shared it with Amun a month back. I was sitting in front of my homie Tommy, in front of his house in my car. I had just pulled up. And he got in the car, and then I'm looking through my windshield window, and I'm like, yo, is that an eagle, bro? So I get out the car, and it's definitely an eagle, and it flies right over my head. I can hit it with a rock. Now, anybody knows that he's from Illinois or Chicago, like, bald eagles not common out here like they probably used to be 1,000 years ago or something, but they're not common out here. We got red-tailed hawks and things like that, but you'd be hard-pressed to see an eagle. And it just flew right over my head.
That's some type of a sign, all right. Thank you, son. All right. Who else has a spiritual experience they'd like to share?
I have one.
Okay.
I'm still in Alabama, and I had left out the house the other night, and as soon as I came out, and it was partially clear and stuff, and the moon was out, and as soon as I looked up, it was a craft right over my head. But by the time I tried to take video, they had already cloaked out and kept moving.
Oh, all right.
Okay. And then about 2 days ago, I was somewhere taking care of something, and it was just so weird because a female came up. She had the exact same jacket on as I did, and we both had the same kind of shoes on, but they were just, different models. And I just thought that was just real weird and interesting.
Yeah, not a coincidence.
Right.
All right. That's that synchronicity. Okay, I wanted to share something with you all about the ascension shift. At some point, you come to realize that you're living in two worlds, not one. That the lower self you have been connected to, whether through ego, has been active and that plugged into society. But then now it's the high self, and the higher self is interconnecting with everything around you through synchronicity, through inner guidance, through intuition, through high dimensional modes. And so you're more responding to the deeper meaning of life, robbing the lower densities. And so you get to realize that you're living in two worlds, not one. Mandela effect. Can somebody, is everybody here clear about what the Mandela effect is?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Sure.
Explain it to the class with the most clarity, loud and clear. What it is that there's a new paradigm here where that people that are conscious are beginning to realize there are two realities simultaneously going on at once. And it started, they marked with Mandela, Nelson Mandela, a South African attorney, black, that was locked up for fighting to protect his people from injustice. Now, it's commonly known that he died in penitentiary, but to a large segment of the population, Nelson Mandela was released from penitentiary and also became president of South Africa, deposing de Klerk, the then white president. Now, you have to go into yourself and ask which of these realities was most prominent with you. Also, there were many simple changes, like Alice in Wonderland, was it Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, who's the fairest of them all, has now, in this reality, been changed into Magic Mirror on the Wall, right? Many of you will notice that in the north that the snow is fake. It doesn't melt in the conventional way. That if you put fire to it, it turns black, kind of like a styrofoam, right? And all of us as children were raised up with Jiffy peanut butter. But now, in this reality, the name is simply J-I-F, is Jif. The other F-Y has been removed. And a lot of names have changed, like J.C. Penney is Penny. Who else has some Mandela effects they could add to the list?
I got a spiritual experience I can add to it. That's
very good.
Kind of. Yeah, this is hard again.
Okay.
And in 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from prison. This is in my reality. I remember one of my favorite movies was Malcolm X, and he was speaking at the end of the movie. So
right.
In 1990, Nelson Mandela was born or was released from prison exactly 6 days after I was born. I was born February 5th. I was born February 5th, 1990. 6 days after he was released. So he was in chains 27 years. That's 9. If you do 6 and 9, that's Lupu and Zupu. Like yin and yang. February 2nd, February is the second month on the 5th day. So that's 5 plus 2, that's 7. 7 seats of the chakras. Then, I was born in 1990. 19 plus 90 equals 109. That's 1 0 and a 9 again. I figured this out because one of my homies asked me a question. They was trying to find out what bad events happened on what days people were born. And I never thought to do that. So they asked me. I said, I don't know. I never thought of that. So they typed my name in Google.
All right, Christian. Glad to hear your vibration.
And the first thing that came up was Nelson Mandela being born 6 days later.
Okay, wow. What he's talking about is the science that Passcode brought to the planet Earth, called the science of Abjad, or the science of numbers. And that, too, is remarkably telling and revealing about myself. Because my numbers are 19, 7, and 30. 19 being the most dominant. Because I was born 1951 in Charity Hospital, New Orleans. And 19 years later, in 1970, Passcode broke the 7th seal. Who bad? How things going in Chicago?
Oh, well, this is Andrew in Atlanta.
Okay, Atlanta, I'm glad. And I wanted to tip my celestial hat to you because I love that work you did. I finally got a chance to really focus on it, and I thought it was smashing, as they say in England. All right?
Thank you.
I really do. And it exhibited your divinity. As do the works of Katat and many others, obviously Har, and Khufu. And those of you that take the time to really do creative work on behalf of the mission, I tip my celestial hat to you. But I said 19 years after my birth, he broke the 7th seal in 1970, and then 30 years later, in the year 2000, it was time for his mission to end. That was the first half hour. Right? But from 1951 to 1981, which was the second time I went to visit him, was 30 years. I was taken up March 2013, 3/26/13, along with Partner Babianu. We were both taken up in 2013. Now, I am Ahmed and Amun. In fact, I'm the three Mims, Ahmed in birth, Muhammad in prophecy, and Mahmoud in the end. But you'll note that I was born 5/31/51, so if you do the math, from 1951 to 2013, it will total 62 years, which is the age of the Prophet Mustafa Muhammad Al-Amin when he made his ascension. He was 62 years old. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. And I was taken up again in 2013 along with Partner Babianu. I could go on and on for hours with these numbers, but what I did is I made a chart of it and sent it to Colorado to Partner Babianu. And he told me, now you have to remove stealth, go under the water, stay very low, because now they know who you are. Right? Which was probably an unfortunate move on my behalf to reveal that. But I'd like to know who has that first question for us to get started with the class. Family. And I want to reinforce the reality that I love you all more than you could possibly love yourselves. Who has that first question? Go ahead, sister.
What is the reason for the multiplication in the audios?
The multiplications in the audio?
Yeah, like I'm listening to some of the audios that was in the spiritual package, and like every once in a while he's like 19 times 5 is, 70.
Okay, that's another indicator of it right there. Over it are 19. That's the number of Ilion. The planet Risk is the 19th galaxy, Ilion. This Milky Way we live in is the 18th galaxy. And in the Tasmia, there are 19 letters. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In, for example, the Holy Tablets, it's broken down in increments of 19. Do the math. There's 19 chapters in the Holy Tablets. And each chapter is broken down in sections or segments of 19 by multiples. Like 19 times, like tablet 4 would be, chapter 6 would be 19 times 19. You follow me? And what this is a strong indicator of, it's like in the Quran, when a poet said, I could bring the like of it, and Muhammad invited him to bring the like of it. But he can't because of the power, the mental power of the creative mind of all. For example, when you have a surah in Arabic like Fatiha, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim, Siratal Ladzina An'amta Alaihim, Ghayril Maghdubi Alaihim Waladdallin. Ameen. Each surah or verse ends with the same tone or sound. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Kul Rabban Nas, Malikin Nas, Elohim Nas, Min Saril Waswasul Kanas, Al-Azizul Wasafisuduni Nas, Min Al-Janati Wan Nas. Right? Now, Muhammad was challenging this poet to create a poem of his liking where each verse ended in a matching tone, and he found it was impossible to do. Can't be done. So the entire Quran, from front to back, is composed of surahs that every one of the verses are ayats in a matching tone. That's incredible synchronicity that can only be done by the creator of the heavens and the earth. Are you following me? Is that clear to you, sister? It's just another sign that he's real for those that have doubts. Lareba, that is a fact beyond doubt. For example, you use mathematics in different forms, like the number 24. The earth was created 24 billion years ago. It's 24,000 miles rounded off its circumference. There are 24 hours in a day. How many elders are there? There's 24. I mean, ad infinitum, you can go on, and the number 7 is the same thing. 7 colors in the spectrum, 7 colors in the musical scale. 7 days in a week, 7 openings in the human body. You have 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, and 2 below. Because eyes are not openings, they're orbs. You have 7 continents. And I've sailed the 7 seas. Right? So, now, 7, right? Realize that you have 7 chakras, and on. But this mathematics marks the divine intellect in concentration, in creation itself. Are you following me? And if research to any depth is evidence in itself of the reality of the unrefutable evidence of the creators, right?
Right.
So that's what the science of Abjad, it's a revelation in math of the existence of creator. Because unfortunately, humanity has fallen to such a low conscious depth that they believe more in the creation than they do the creator of it, right? And that's very unfortunate. While the creation itself is evidence of the creator. For example, you have a often repeated scripture in the Bible where Reverend D. Porchop Pastor Fried Chicken will say that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things yet unseen. Through faith we understand that the worlds were formed by the word of God, so the things that are seen were not made by things which do appear. But they never explain it because they don't know the meaning of it. But let's go over it. Faith or belief is the substance of things hoped for. So if you hope for a car when you were young, when it finally appeared, you thought it was made out of rubber and iron and leather, etc., but it wasn't. The substance it was made out of was faith, your belief in it, the mental power, because anything you conceptualize, you can visualize, materialize, and thereby actualize. It's the power of thought spiraling down from consciousness into what you have concluded is solid matter. But when you went out there to see that first car you dreamed of for those years, it may have been 3-tone with ball tires, but it was yours. And you were amazed to find that everywhere you drove that first car, you would see other cars just like it that you never noticed before because your mind was still in creation mode. And it goes on further to say that through faith, we understand that the worlds, being the sun, moon, and stars, were formed by the word of God. So the things that are seen, such as your hand on the phone, the sun, moon, and stars, were not made by things which do appear. Meaning that if I ask you to step outside and look up at the sky, and you all should be able to repeat this, and I say, can you see the star or the moon up there? You say, yeah. When you point to it, you say, it's right there, Amun. And I say, well, they were created. Now can you point to the one who created them and put them in, and can you point to the creator? And you look and say, well, no, I can't do that. Well, what we've established is that the creation is seen, but the creator of it is unseen, right? That's when I ask you, which is realist in your mind, the creation or the creator? What is the logical and only real answer?
Creator.
The Creator.
All right, then we've established that the unseen is realer than the seen. Am I right?
To what?
That means that the aspects of you that I can see are not as real as those aspects of you that I can't see. Meaning that you are enigma. Wherever you are in your home, sitting in a chair, if you can find an empty space in that room that you can sit alternately, that's empty, and use your imagination right here. Imagine that I put your soul in that empty chair, your spirit, your personality, your etheric aspect, your memories, your feelings. If I put all that over in that other empty chair, what would be left on the phone here with us?
Nothing.
Nada.
That's
Nothing.
just a shell, an empty shell. So what really describes the actual you, the real you, is nothing that belongs to this physical realm at all. Because we can't see your spirit or your soul or your memories or your personality or your emotions. We can't see that. These things are unseen. That relates to the Quran when it says that the Most High created man of sounding clay of black mud. That earthen vessel there, shaped, and he then blew his breath into your nostrils, and thus you became a living soul by the bind of the spirit to the mud, right? So that we all agree that God is inside the temple, which is not a place or a building down the street, but the temple is obviously a place on the side of your head next to your ears and your eyes and windows to the soul, right?
Right.
As above, so below, because you know above you, you have the solar system, the sun in the center, what is the radiant energy that gives life by bathing the planets and radiant energy, ranging in order from the sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But then you, below that solar system, are a replica because you, man, have a solar plexus with the internal sun, which the Most High merely shared and we became. And that sun inside of your solar plexus gives off light and heat. That's why you maintain a constant body temperature of 98.6, regardless of outside temperature. It could be 20 below zero, but you still remain 98.6 by the thermometer. And it gives off light. That's the aura that perspires through your skin about 3 feet outside the formless well of atmosphere. You call an aura. And that heat causes you to be able to burn calories or have a fever or to get hot or angry when you raise the kundalini. But below you, you have the atom, which has the quark at the center of it, was the nucleus of it, that gives the little miniature sun that gives us the radiant energy to the 2 electrons that revolve around it in the first shell, 4 in the second, 6, 8, 16, 32, on and on, makes it a microcosm or a miniature solar system. But the quark at the center is the radiant energy that gives life to the atom, which is a miniature solar system. But they disguise that by naming the atom ATOM and then confusing you with spelling of ADAM as atom. But atom is atom, just like the sun above, but phonetically they changed the spelling to SUN as opposed to SON. And with these simple allusions, they misdirect you and confuse you, so you don't know what your real status is in creation. But it's very clear to those that doubt the reality and existence of the Most High. Are you with me? That said, what is that?
Sure.
What is that next question? I know there are a lot of people here for the first time.
But I
Yes.
did want to bring just a little more information that you mentioned about the number 19.
Could you speak up, brother? Could you please speak up louder?
Oh, yeah. How's that? Better?
Yes.
Okay. With the number 19 and how it relates to poetic composition and mathematics being an indicator of intellect of the divine creative. So in Indian classical music, and actually in a lot of classical musics, there is a method of learning how to compose using a certain amount of number. And like you mentioned in the Quran, having a repeating phrase at the end. So like in Indian music, people learn to recite the music verbally. And when you hear it, it sounds like what you recited. And it's kind of like you can only do that once you've reached a high level of intellect mixed with creativity that is your God, coming from God, so to speak, because it's this.
Correct.
It comes out like a language, basically. But thank you for sharing that about the tablets.
And thank you for sharing that bit of information with us, because it's like a giant puzzle that we're collectively putting together, and it wouldn't be whole or complete with the absence of any individual part. Just like all of you are pieces to that puzzle, every one of us are intricately woven into this giant tapestry of all. Okay? Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
I think I want to share. You know how you said that white people have like I think you said like 99% of like chimpanzee, or 99.5
or 98.8. You can do a computer search right now. What percentage of what they describe as human DNA is chimpanzee? And it's almost 100%. Yes, go ahead.
So what I saw earlier on Instagram was a chimpanzee who had like their fingers had like turned, like there was a part of the fingers had turned white, and it looked just like a white hand. So I thought that was kind of like cool how like that was put together.
Well, that's a good thing to notice. But clear observation will point to the reality that while white people call you all black monkeys and things of that effect, here's where the reality, the rubber meets the road, in that all animals are white. You know, you can say a black cat, but that's black furred cat. When you shave it, you see the pigment speed is the same as his. Or a black dog or black crow. But whenever you pluck that chicken or bird or shave that dog or animal, you find out that his pigment speed is there. And he's using reverse psychology on you to try to imply that black is inferior, when the reality is that existence itself is black. The vast extent, the void, the multiverses are all shrouded in black. And light can dream of conquering darkness, but it can never outstrip it. Because wherever light is, there always remains that black shadow. But blackness is completely devoid of light. Are you with me? Black is dominant, white is recessive. So this whole ridiculous farce about a white God, when stating that he's omnipresent, meaning he's everywhere at the same time, can be reduced into a tiny white man, when existence itself is black. So how could the omnipresent God be a little white man? Is more than a mental stretch. It's a blatant lie, and it's for children. And that from that man, he removed one rib and created an entire woman. Stop it. And then these two white people, Adam and Eve, together procreated the human race. Start with Cain and Abel, never describing where they got their wives from. Right? But the reality remains that white people scientifically cannot produce black babies. We know that if you don't research it. And remains that the truth is that black people can reproduce white people or have white babies, and albinism is evidence of that. So technically speaking, Adam and Eve had to be black in order for black and white people and everything in between to exist. And if they were black, and they were, that's clear evidence that the Creator was black and is black, and that they were created in His image and in their image and likeness. So, on the face of it, the whole thing is ridiculous. But I digress. So, what is that next question?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. If you speak up louder, it'd be better for the class.
Yeah, I put it on speaker real quick. You mentioned something about atoms and how they're hidden, and it's unseen. I wanted to know how does that relate to the Amun in the hidden one?
Okay, I kind of. You mean to the Amun and the hidden one?
Yeah, and the atoms that's unseen. Like, I'm trying to frame it in a way so the class can understand it, but I'm hoping you can understand it so I can rearrange it.
Well, I don't understand the way that you present the question to me, so I think that the one asking the question knows better than the one being asked. In other words, you have a concept of how that goes, because if you could please clarify to the class what it is you're trying to communicate to us, that would be much easier.
Okay, so atoms, like we can't see atoms.
No, you can't see atoms.
Right, and when we speak of Amun, and like I guess the energy that comes with being the Amun and the hidden one, I'm trying to understand, like, how do we realize that? I'm trying to frame it in a way to understand it, but I'm kind of coming up short.
Well, the Amun is the overseer of all the deities in the beginning of the creation of God, right? And when you revert back to those religions like Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, for example, in Islam, whenever you end a surah, you end it with Amin, which is also Amun, faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. And in Christianity, you end every verse or prayer with Amen, which is Amen. Are you following me? Yes. So people know who the Amen is subconsciously, but it's time for us to bring this reality to the fore and reawaken people that they think that they're discovering something new, but they're really uncovering an essential reality, a base reality of all existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're no longer hidden. Example is, in all your searches and all the information that you accumulated, none of you have ever run across an individual or a small group that's performing real miracles that can be proven visually. Like, we're the only ones that actually move stars, right?
Correct.
That's right.
Okay, and we stand out in that aspect alone. And many of you here with me have achieved healing from minor things to really serious things like stage 4 cancer, AIDS, COVID. Can any of you bear witness to that?
I can, because you did it for me.
Right. I love you for bearing witness. Okay. So, is that the point you wanted to make, brother, or is there more to it you want to share with us? And I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's more to it, and I do have my kid with me, so I'm trying to figure out...
I follow you. You're trying to juggle.
I'm trying to figure out the right way to act it, because me and Hart talk about it all the time, and I wanted to present it to the class because I kind of understood what he was speaking on, but I'm trying to go to it in a scientific aspect of understanding the molecules that move our spiritual systems.
Move our spiritual what now?
Hi, yeah.
I'd like to chime in.
I'm here.
Because I think what came to mind, brother, when you said that, is going from nothing to something, and the basis of that being hydrogen to helium.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
that's when he talking about something. Amun, he talking about going back to something and becoming one with Paud again. And how does that relate to Amun and his job, and how Amun has to recreate himself 144,000 times?
That's the mission.
All of that.
That is the mission.
That's what
but
he really
first, let us revisit the most simplistic demonstration I gave of something to nothing. Let's take a simple substance like H2O or water, as the brother described. Put it in a container and place it in your freezer, and the cold temperatures will lower the vibrations and slow them down until the water takes on a form of solidity like bones and teeth. You call it ice. Note the temperature, it's also cold as a reptile. But when you take the ice out of the freezer at room temperature, it converts back into a liquid that is also, like the ice, affected by forces like gravity, can't go through a wall, etc. But when you take the water in a liquid form and place it in a pot on a stove and turn a high fire on, the heat will raise the vibration so that the water is visibly excited. You can see it rolling and pitching, vibrating very fast, and that heat converts the liquid into a spirit you call steam that is no longer affected by gravity but rises. Leave the fire on high enough, it gets hot enough until the steam itself is converted into ether, where eventually I say, what's left in the pot? And you say nothing, which is an impossibility because you can't get nothing from something. It's only energy in transit. So what happens is the contents have reverted back to ether. Like you in the other chair, you can't see it or touch it. Like the maker and creator of the stars and the moon. But if you turn the heat off and let the kitchen cool and condensate, the etheric aspect of water will reform as tiny droplets of moisture all over the floors, walls, and ceiling. That if you can conceivably collect in a container and place back in the freezer, you can spiral it all the way back down into solid ice again. And this itself, family, is how angels ascend and descend up and down Jacob's ladder, which is really your spinal column, with the 7 chakras, the 7 heavens. Are you following me? By raising and lowering a vibration consciously. This is how you make your ascension from heaven to earth in the fall, or how you reascend back up into heaven. That's how these levels of information that come through me, not from me, are designed to raise your consciousness to a level that you reconnect with the Most High and your higher self. In other words, you return to the Intergalactic Confederation on high, back to Ilium, Lahut, or heaven. Are you following me? For those of you that are that qualified to make this journey with us, unfortunately, the mass majority will be left behind with what they're creating. Because these people are not in search of truth. What they're really looking for, here's a heartfelt whisper, what they're really looking for is confirmation of their already preconceived, very erroneous and weak beliefs. Their illogical beliefs. They're looking for a yes man, and I'm not that. I'm here to reveal to you the truth of you, which you are deities.
And how do we follow up to that? Is how do we come to the realization? Like, how do we transform into that being?
By the reception of this information, making sure you don't miss classes, and of course, being an active principal, a participant, by sharing this information with everybody in the world. And how do you do that? You join every public media group, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, etc. And then you join all the large groups, so that when you receive these emails or posts from me, you can copy and repost them in every large group. And the best example is Facebook, where there's one group alone in there called the Children of Ra that has 2.5 million people in it alone. So what I'm saying is that your ancestors had placed at your fingertips the ability to reach millions of people a day. Listen to that. Feel the power of that. You each have the unlimited potential of reaching unlimited amounts of people every day, millions of people, from which the 144,000 elite few will be extracted. So like Andrew, that I feel may have returned to us, was told by the Messiah, drop your nets and become fishers of men. Each one do your part. If everyone lit just one little candle, what a bright world this would be, right? Light your candles, family. Every one of you. Don't be mentally lazy and make excuses. I don't deal with public media. What does that mean? That's a hollow statement. It's there for you. You wouldn't have it at your fingertips if it wasn't there for you to use. It's like one brother in Georgia asked me to move stars for him, and I did it in front of my house, and he literally passed out, fell out on the steps. Looking up at me, he said, with searching water in his eyes, he said, "Why, you can't do that. You can't, God don't want you." I said, "Son, if God didn't want me to do that, I wouldn't be able to." Now you have that media at your fingertips, and it's there for you to use. So I repeat, everybody that's trying to make it to heaven, lead others to heaven by joining every large media group and every large group in that media, and posting up these posts over and over again in all those large groups, and we will ferret out those that are capable of making this trip and separate the goats from the sheep. You hear me? And by leading people to heaven, you already know who gets there first, right? You do.
Yes.
And as the sons and daughters of thunder, you too will be remembered for all times. As simple as I can put it. But all of you that detach yourself from responsibility will never have the ability to respond. Let me tell you as plainly as I can. You're not getting to heaven if you're not interested in getting your brothers and sisters to heaven, because you are your brothers and your sisters' keeper. Do unto others as you would they would do unto you. Somebody expose you to this truth. Have the common decency to extend that invitation to all of the people. Don't be mentally lazy or place yourself in such a high stratum in your mind that you're too important to do that. There is no big or small in the eye of all. So every individual soul is just as valuable as the next. The only thing that distinguishes one from the other is that there are some beings that are more consciously awake than others. And so what would hinder you or prevent you from wanting to wake up your brothers and sisters? Unless you were that other entity that you refer to as the devil. The Most High has given you the means and I've delivered to you the direction. So there's no reason to postpone waking up the rest of the world. Our time is, the hourglass is almost empty. We have until 2030. That's when my mission ends, which was from 2000 to 2030, the second half hour. And we'll be gone. And we won't be coming back. Think about what I'm saying. So people that are mentally lazy and leaning on this like, all I have to do is go to class and learn all the information from Elijah and Yanun and Amun and learn all this information, and I myself can key in and find the path back to the heavens, you're living in delusion. Because the only reality is divine love. And now is that an expression of divine love or selfishness? Because if you really have reached a level of conscious reality or divine love, which is the only reality, everything else is mere illusion, then you want to see your brothers and sisters awake just like you. So drop your nets and become fishers of men. Become fishers of men, yes.
So helping all the others is basically helping yourself if the ultimate reality is power. You
got it correct. You got it correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the key. Love is the key. So all of you all that are receiving these posts, and those of you that haven't received them, are not absolved from responsibility because you know how to create a post, give your testimony, and place links to these classes and class times and call-in numbers on it, and then post that to everybody in the world until you start receiving direct emails from me, or knowing how to go on Facebook to Sonny Beeman or Amun-Rayay and start getting these email compositions that you can copy and repost to millions of people at least twice a week, 2 days before class, minimum, to give people an opportunity to have the time to explore the links and the different readings that's on them, like the one I just sent out. And if you are receiving these and not really exploring them or checking out the links, what a waste for you and the world, because they're designed to help you do just that, to expand your consciousness. That's what the information is designed to do. So if we continue to have classes, let's say that we had 20 people coming twice a week. Why would you want to hide your light under a bushel basket if you are a deity? Just like you can hear what's coming out of me and the vibrations and the levels of consciousness that are waking you up and making your DNA explode back to R1. What would it cost you to have thousands of brothers and sisters on the phone receiving the same information simultaneously? Because you stopped being mentally lazy and decided to put some energy into sharing the information with them. What would that cost you?
Nothing.
That's right.
Nothing at all. But time.
Well, then a little bit of that. So why ask yourself, looking in the mirror, who am I? What am I? And why am I not sharing this information with millions of people twice a week? Because if you're not, it's not because you don't have the means. If you have a cell phone or a computer, you have the means. You have access to public media. Is it because you don't think the information is vital? It's not important enough? Or is it that if you could contact people, you would only be motivated if it had things to do with your personal glorification, if it would make you look big? You have things to think about. and much more importantly, you have things to do. So if you're already doing this, I tip my celestial hat to you. And if you're not, I say get busy. With a tear and a smile, I say get busy. The time is now. Next question.
I have a question.
I'll do my best. You can speak up louder, please.
What's the difference between the I lost it, man.
You can
the
find it.
Leprosi curse.
Between
the
what?
Curse of the Leprosi and the Curse of the Leprosi and the Project of Yaqub. What's the difference between those two?
The what was that? Did you say curse?
He said the curse of leprosy and the project of Yaqub.
Sorry, my phone.
Well, they're just uniquely different things. Yaqub resulted from the Duniaku, and the T-Rose, a blend of them from out of the center of the world that came up and created the large cloning of the sciences. That experiment with two magnets in his backyard that resulted in the 59,999 of them that traveled around the coast of Africa. I'm trying to squeeze the elephant in the thimble for you. And the scientists perform experiments there by kidnapping various African tribes along the coast of Africa. That's why you notice that in Zanzibar and all the coastal areas of Africa, the Africans there are mixed like Ethiopians, and they take on certain characteristics of other than just heavily melanated, kingly hair Africans, right? Because of that experiment from them traveling around the coast of Africa and introducing that science of albinism into those people. And when you're talking about the curse of Canaan, that was brought about in the days of Noah. That was a husbandman that he was growing wine in a vineyard, of which one day he partook of it, not knowing that it got past the point of just being clear wine, but it had fermented, and he became intoxicated. And when he became drunk, he went into his tent and stretched out, and he was nude. And one of his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they opened up the tent and observed their father in his sleep, and they cursed his genes. This was not a sign of homosexuality because Noah was naked. It was because he had shapeshifted, relaxed under alcohol, into a reptilian. And that's what shocked his son and scared him so terribly and stained his genes. Noah awakened out of his slumber and said, "Cursed be Canaan. A servant of serpents will he be to his brethren." But the son that looked on him was not Canaan, it was Ham, and Ham's son was Canaan. Because it cursed Ham's genes, and his son came out albino. And together with his sister Hamilton, they together procreated the 11 tribes of Canaan, which are the modern-day white people, such as the Amorite, the Gargasite, the Canaanite, all these different tribes. And then of the 11 tribes of Canaan, one tribe is black. The Hamathites are black. So don't think there's not black white folks or black devils, because they are a reality and they're troublesome. Is that clear to you, son?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next question. It's revelation time.
I got a question, Amun.
I'll do my best.
For some of my family, out there. I wanted to know how does the creator see homosexuality?
Some things are apparent, son. What's the purpose of creation? For every species to recreate in its own kind, right? Go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. Isn't that the decree, the command? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, it's breaking up, Moon. I didn't hear you.
Okay. Isn't the command of the Most High upon the creation of every species to go forth, be fruitful, and multiply? Yes or no?
That's right.
Okay. Can you explain to me how 2 women or 2 men are going to be fruitful and multiply without falling short of the mandate? It's impossible. They're rebelling against the command of the Most High, right?
Right.
Okay. So the one asking the question really knows better than the one being asked. It's not a personal judgment on my part. It's just facts.
That's right. Okay.
If it's not all the way right, it's not right at all, right?
Right.
Okay. Next question.
I have a question.
All right, sister, you were first. Have patience with us, brother. Go ahead, sister.
Okay, so I know last week you were speaking on the 144,000 and about raising awareness. I just wanted to know, where did the 144,000 number come from, and could it be more people the more awareness that is raised?
To the first aspect of that question, it came from degrees of knowledge, right?
Right.
For example, you will sit here and create it with supposedly 360 degrees of knowledge, right? 180 degrees of negative and 180 degrees of positive, and free will pivoting to choose between the two with will. Well, optimally, with the receipt, upon the receipt of right knowledge, you convert that 180 degrees of negative into also 160 degrees of positive, which will culminate in 360 degrees of positive knowledge, which again will divide against itself for 360 degrees of positive knowledge, and by generating more questions, 360 degrees of knowledge of negative, which the same system will work until you convert the 360 degrees of negative into 360 degrees of positive, and you will achieve 720 degrees by the combination of 360 twice, 720 degrees of knowledge, and you too will be a lord over space and time, knowing no height, no depth, right? With the badge of an angel. But then, the 144 comes when Yanun and I come together and merge, which we ultimately will. We will merge as the one he so propagates we are already through his personal letters to me, and many of you have already witnessed with your own eyes. So when the 720 above and 720 below come together, that will make 1440, right?
Right.
Behold, I looked at Mount Zion, there stood a Lamb, and with him 144,000, with their father's name written in their foreheads, not indicative of the mark of prostration by pounding their foreheads on the floor like the Muslims do, but as indicated that their third eye is also open, because certainly thou wert heedless of it. Today we have removed thee thy veil, so thy side is sharp, right, sister?
Right.
Okay.
And the second half, if there were more people aware, the more awareness raised, could there be more?
That's the job, Andrew. By joining all these large media groups and every large group in it and posting, reposting this information that I'm sending to you in these class links and class times, you're giving the rest of the world in its entirety the opportunity to share with you and us this level of consciousness that is raising them back up potentially into deities if they're capable of making that ascension. And if they're not, oh well, we don't leave a stone unturned, do we? So in the end of time, nobody will be able to say, had I known that, I would have made the right choices. Because we won't leave a stone unturned, will we, as a collective? Will we, family?
No, we will not.
No.
All right. Now let me ask you, by what vehicle are we going to reach all these people so that nobody can say that they didn't know? What's going to be the vehicle that we use to reach them?
Media.
That's
Yeah, but it's got to be you all to interact with the media. As true disciples of the Lamb. Behold, I looked at Mount Zion, and there stood a Lamb. And with him, 140. Keanu and I are both the Lamb. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Right. You have to understand that it's your job as emissaries in the grand assembly of the Most High. It's your responsibility to reach the rest of the world. Are you following me? And right now, it's even more imminent because it's your job to reach the rest of the 144,000. Let's say that you're mentally lazy and you don't start until 2028. There's so much information, so vast and variegated, coming through me, and has already come through Padre Babianoon and all those predecessors that he had, that it would be impossible to squeeze that elephant in a thimble. They wouldn't have time to accumulate enough information to make them capable of making an intelligent choice, right?
All right.
Don't waste another second. Take the post that you received now and join all those large groups one at a time and join every large group within it and repost the post that I sent to you. Take the time and energy that I took with you to not only send you the post, but to create it. You don't have to create it. Just copy and repost it. And you make sure. Don't rely on your brothers and sisters. I know somebody else will do it. Don't do that. You're wrong. Because a vibration, you're going to tune into a certain segment of population that they won't. By that I mean the Crystal City has 12 doors. And each door will have, 12,000 of each tribe going into it. And 12 times 12 again is 144. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Well, different ones of you all have different frequencies and vibrations that's going to reach different people. So do your part and reach all those people you were sent here to reach. Repost these posts to the world. You're not doing your job by reaching 12 people or an individual you know at work. Stop it. Let me be crude and say you can't shit like an elephant if you eat like a bird. Stop majoring in minors and go to work. Take your mission responsibly and seriously. You've been granted the greatest gift that's ever been extended to humanity. The opportunity to earn the immortal throne. Don't spit in the wind or tug on Superman's cape. Because in this instant, You are the deity. You are that caterpillar in the cocoon that's struggling to emerge into that wonderful butterfly and experience the great new wonderful. You've been extended the opportunity to become God. If people would have asked you in your childhood, what would you be if you could be anything in the world? Some would have said Wonder Woman or Superman, because they would have been afraid to say anything. Well, I want to be God. Afraid of that backhand they might have received out of perceived disrespect. You follow me? Or blasphemy. But the reality of it is that you are potentially gods and goddesses. Would you but earn your throne? Go forth and become fishers of men. Wake these people up. Not by the dozens, but by the millions, twice a week. Can you do that? Let me hear a response.
Yes.
Yes, sure.
Now, will you do that?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I will and I am. I will and I am.
Well, you are the army of the Most High. Your weapon is truth. You hear me? And your delivery system is the public media. So go to work. Start one group at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Join Twitter today and Facebook tomorrow and Telegram the next day. You follow me? Infiltrate like tentacles from a giant octopus into every dark recess and corner in creation, and bring that light as a life bearer extended into all creation. Spread out, children, and do what you're supposed to do. Let's do it together as a collective. Now, next question. Come on.
I got a question, Masad.
I'll do my best.
Are there other planets or multiverses that are dealing with the same thing that we are here with the 144,000?
Yes. Yes, indeed. There are many planets and different dimensions and different sectors of this universe that are reaching consciousness. That's why Gabriel and Michael are only prototypes. In other words, there's not one angel Michael or one angel Gabriel. But those beings or men did exist. And we extracted sperm samples from them and cryogenically preserved them in test tubes on various ships throughout the cosmos. And as we are watchers or observers, we calibrate every world to see when they have reached a level of consciousness where they're ready to receive that level of light information, and we inject thought-out samples of that sperm into the testes of selected angelic beings that come down, and like it was in the story of Jesus, the angel Gabriel came down accompanied by the angel Michael and said to Mary, "Hail Mary, full of grace, full of grace." And he lifted his robe and went in unto her. They had sexual intercourse. And he placed that seed into her womb, which Mary herself had been anatomically altered to make her capable of receiving that level of light without exploding herself. And she thereby gave birth to that which is renowned. Did you know that Mary herself, by that act, became a prophet herself? As did Fatima.
Sure.
Yeah. So there are many female prophets among you that also have to be awakened. What a tragedy it would be for you to get access to this level of information and light, and your brothers and sisters are all around you and they remain in darkness, and it's within your power to share that light. You have no power to compel them, so if the argument is, I try to give them this knowledge and they reject it, That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to give them the opportunity to be exposed to it, like you. And hopefully they'll make the right choice. What I'm saying is that if people are used to drinking dirty water, if they have a glass of dirty water in front of them and you put a clean glass next to it, what should they do?
Take the clean glass.
But however, you have no power to compare. You can lead a horse to water, but what?
They can't make it drink.
Can't make it drink.
And nobody made you drink. You consciously chose the clean glass. You follow me? But you couldn't have done that without the opportunity to choose. Am I right?
The conference will automatically end in 30 seconds.
If you just leave the dirty glass in front of them and complain about the outcome, you're wrong. You can say to the Most High, absolving yourself of it, wash your hands and say, well, I gave it to him and her, I gave it to him, right? And on that day, the Most High will say to them, did not I send to you my messengers and the book and the information?
Ending. Goodbye.
Yes or no? And they'll have to say yes. He'll say that slink ye into the pit and speak not unto me. You follow me? Judgment is his. Yours is the responsibility to afford them that choice, to give them a choice. And it's a very serious responsibility. Take it as such. Don't be idle-minded or make excuses. If you haven't started, join one of those large groups tonight, or maybe two. And then join every large group within it. And take the post that you got from me now and repost that to millions of people. Until you join every large group out there, and you cover the planet like Sherwin-Williams, like paint. You cover the whole globe. You, as an individual, don't worry about what your brothers and sisters are doing, nor should they worry about what you're doing. As I said, you all vibrate on different frequencies and will reach different segments of the population. But as a collective, you'll be able to reach them all, and then you can truthfully say that you didn't leave a stone unturned. You hear me? Give everybody the opportunity that we afforded to you. You're talking about eternity and immortality. The stakes are too large for you to be complicit and being stagnant, acting like you don't have nothing to do with it except your only responsibility is to yourself to make your personal transformation. That's not God-like. Do unto your brothers and your sisters as you would, they would do unto you. We have a final question?
I think the 712 call dropped.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sister. Say it again.
I think the 712 call had dropped.
Okay. Well, who has that last question that is here?
I got one.
I'll do my best.
How will we know what kind of craft, well, no, not what kind of craft, but the beings that are in the craft that we see sometimes? Is there a way for us to know or tell?
Yeah, because the ones that frequent you the most will be of your own species, and you'll sense a familiarity in them, even if they look anatomically different. It's like when you have a dream and you see friends and relatives in it that many times take on a different physical appearance. But you know it's them because of their essence. You follow me?
Yes.
I saw my mother last night in a dream, and she didn't look like herself. But you knew, how did you know it was her? Because of her essence. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
That's how they know it's you and how you know it's them. All right?
Yes, thank you.
I love you. Let's all go outside and perform miracles now, especially these newcomers. And there are a lot of you here. So of the newcomers, who can see a star outside or the moon?
I'm getting ready right now.
Okay. Hurry, children. Go outside and realize that you're not gods by simply saying you are, but you become gods when you start doing things that gods do. Join the ranks of the 144,000 and exercise your spiritual muscles that have atrophied till now, and strengthen them again by repetitionally performing miracles. You walking with the Lamb, so wake up to it and get thoroughly involved. Who's going to be the first new person that sees a star in the sky?
It's Aaron. It's not my first time, but I want to go first.
All right.
Okay.
And you're in Chicago, right? Okay, what do you see in the sky, Aaron?
Right above my roof, I see the top of the Orion, the two that go across.
Okay, well, let's move the entire constellation of Orion, right? Orion, in the name of the Messiah, move to the left.
It's moving.
Yeah, it is. Now, Orion.
You said it.
Yeah. Now move up, Orion, in the name of Amun-Rayay.
It's going up.
Now, Orion, drop down.
It's dropping.
All right, I love you, son. This is just reinforcement that you're in the right place. Have the wisdom never to leave again, okay, son?
I got you.
I love you. Next person. Preferably a new person that's never performed a miracle. All right. Whosoever will, tell me what you see.
I see a star.
All right. Is this your first time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you want to do? In the name of Amun-Rayay, move to the left.
Turn your phone off.
It's moving.
Yes, it is. Now, in the name of Amun-Rayay, raise up.
What's that going up? Oh, it's going up.
Yeah. In the name of the Messiah, drop down.
It just shot down.
Right. In the name of the Messiah, go in the clockwise circle.
Oh, it's doing it. It's going clockwise.
Yeah, I love you. So now you know for a fact where you are, right, son?
I just seen a shooting star.
That's right. So what would happen if you left us now and went back into those fake, false beliefs, and you expected to be guided to heaven by that? Would that be intelligent?
No, that's hell.
I already know. I love you. Welcome home. Everybody welcome the brother home.
Welcome home, brother.
Welcome home, brother. Welcome home, brother. We love you. Next person.
Rahubat.
Rahubat, where you at? What state you located in?
Oh, no, I was just walking them home.
Are you walking home? Okay, what do you see?
No.
Walking them home. I got you. I got you. Who else is going to move stuff for us tonight? One more person.
I'll go. It's
okay,
my name is
sister.
Rashana. I was here last week. Yeah.
Okay, very good, Rashana. Everybody welcome the sister home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
We love you. All right.
Welcome home.
Is it a star, Rashana, you see?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what are you going to do with it? You want to move? Okay, move left in the name of the Messiah.
It's moving left.
Yes. Thank you all for repeating what you see. Now, drop down the name of Amun-Rayay.
It's dropping.
All right. Now come closer to her in the name of the Messiah.
It's coming.
Yeah. Now go back out in the name of Amun-Rayay.
Yep, it's moving.
Yeah. I love you, sister. And you too know you're home now. So why would you be motivated to leave and go somewhere else and search your truth? You wouldn't be.
I need right here.
I love you. We all do. And you're making the puzzle complete with another part. All right. We need written testimonies from you all to email them to Orion9starmover@gmail.com. So write your testimonies of your experiences tonight. We need donations and for you to purchase spiritual packages. And above all, come in and above all, to post up to the world in every large media group this information, the links to these classes, and the times that we hold them to raise the $144,000 quickly so that they in turn can raise as a collective the rest of the world to consciousness. I love you all. I am Nitir Affinity, Amun-Rayay Asa, the only real Messiah. One love. Let's go to work, family. Not later, but now. Peace.